Hello, everyone. You know, I come on YouTube a lot and watch plenty of Minecrafters build these huge, larger-than-life builds. And that's awesome. I really enjoy that stuff. But it's not often that I find someone that's building areas that feel more grounded in nature. I wanted to bring this kind of feeling into the game and maybe inspire some of you to draw inspiration from the world around us. Or maybe just to get outside more. So today, instead of showing off a building, let's design a custom spruce forest. I want to build an old trail working its way down into the area. I'll start by terraforming a traversable path down the hill here. Next, I want to come in and mix up the texturing of the new trail using a little bit of gravel, path blocks, and coarse dirt. I'm also going to mix in just a little bit of cobblestone to give the impression of unearthed rocks. I'll come back through here and put in some broken fences to kind of guide the player along the path and give that worn, dilapidated feeling. Perfect. This is going to give the impression I was going for when entering this area here. I left some rocks exposed here. Looks like the land eroded away, and it gives this feeling that we're up in the mountain. For this next part, I'm going to come in here and rip out the top layer of earth for where I'll be putting in the trees. I want to fully cover the area in podzol to give that impression of fallen tree needles and muddy earth. And I'll come back around later on to remove some of the pieces of podzol and swap them out with other blocks. I find that it's often easier to add too much and kind of come back and remove what I don't want. I'm also going to put in some custom rocks to bring out that real-world feel. All right, party people, time to get some trees in. So I'm not going to be putting in any fancy custom trees on this go-around because I find that they take up too much space when you're doing spruce trees. And I want this to be kind of a really tight-knit, woodsy forest here. I will, however, be growing them at different heights, and I'll show you how I do that in just a second here, in order to give a varying kind of realistic canopy. So this is kind of what I was talking about, the height differential here. As you can see, if you throw a little bit of variance into where you're placing the saplings, you'll get this kind of varying levels in the canopy here, and it just feels a lot more natural. Feels a lot nicer to look at as well. We got the trees in now. You can see the varying heights in the canopy. I think this turned out really well. We've got a bit of a backdrop here as well. I went kind of outside of our fence area here. Show you. Threw some trees in on this side to add some layers and depth from our viewpoint over there. And it gives you kind of something nice to see when you're coming in from the waist out here. Now comes the fun part where I get to add in all the details. I took all the snow layers out of here for the time being. I kind of want to see where snow ends up landing in between all of the leaves. And I'll throw in some detailing accordingly where snow is falling as well. But for the time being, I think right now what I want to do is throw in a fallen tree into the gully here. Kind of add some history, some lore to the area. A little bit of life outside of what we're doing. Now we've got this fallen tree in here, and I added another one over here, over the path. Kind of hard to see from this angle. You can see it looks like it kind of snapped off and leaned across the path here, creating a bit of a widowmaker. Gotta be careful walking under that. And then I came in here and added some fallen, rotten limbs, threw some moss around them. Those turned out pretty good. Next, I want to come through here and add in some mushrooms and ferns and some berry bushes. All right, I added in plenty of ferns here. A bunch of little mushrooms that add little pops of color. Some berry bushes that will also be adding some pops of color once they grow up. But we put a lot of ferns in here because whenever you see ferns in the real world, they are very plentiful. So I wanted to make sure to kind of over-add them to these areas. I also added in a little fairy circle here. In case you haven't seen that in the real world, it's when you get a ring of mushrooms. They're not always a perfect ring, and so that's why I popped a few of them out of here just to add a little bit of realism into the scene here. But Got plenty of ferns, plenty of berries, plenty of mushrooms. I think we're looking pretty good here. Got a couple of fallen trees. And I want to go do up the area on the outside of the fence here as well. Just so we have some nice immersion if I'm ever out wandering in the wasteland coming home from a long trip. And I stumble into this area here. It looks realistic and finished instead of, you know, right now it kind of looks like a movie set.
All right, quiet on the set.
But I want to come through here and add in some glow lichen, kind of give some pops of light into the area. Also in the real world, we've got lichen growing all over trees, especially ones that have fallen and are rotting. So I want to go ahead and come in here and add some of this. And we'll take a look at what we got. Now we've got our detailing in here. I just want to add one last thing to this area. I think it's turned out looking fabulous. This has come out better than I was expecting it to. But I want to come up here to the end of the trail and add just a little tool shack here. Not much of a building, but just a little hut, you know. Add a little bit of civilization back into this nature that we've created here. But I'm very happy with what we have so far. Let me get this shack in and we'll take another look. If you're ever trying to find inspiration for what you should do next in Minecraft, it always helps to watch other Minecrafters on YouTube. Kind of see what other people are doing. Might inspire you to do something yourself. Maybe like this. Or, you know, for me, it's just things that I encounter in my everyday life. Sometimes buildings, libraries, you know. Sometimes it's you go on a hike, you see a nice forest trail, and that inspires you to make something in Minecraft, kind of resembling real life. But you could always look at real-world pictures to kind of get a feel for how you want to do it in-game. That would be my suggestion. All right, let's go check out the shed that I put in here. It's just something a little simple, you know. It's not supposed to be like a house or anything of that nature. More of like a shack that you could come stay in while you're doing some work. You know, we got an axe, we got a key to lock up the place when you leave. Little cot. Nice windows to look out on the beautiful scenery here. But yeah, just a nice little simple house like this. Probably could look a little bit better, but whatever. I'm happy with it. And yeah, I think that's gonna kind of conclude our detailing that we've got in here now. I did add just a few bushes with the birch leaves here, kind of on the outskirts more so. I think they turned out pretty well. They just add an extra little bit, but we don't want to crowd the inside of the forest too much. I kind of have them on the outside here. Kind of wrap this whole thing up. I just want to say, if you ever feel daunted by seeing the things that Minecrafters are making in videos, just keep practicing. Take one thing at a time. Try to be realistic about your project goals. You know, just like don't bite off more than you can chew. And over time, you'll get better. Don't be discouraged. You'll get there. And if you learned something new today, just leave a like on the video and let me know what you learned down below in the comments. I really appreciate that. And if you want to see more of my content, maybe check out the channel. Consider subscribing, and if you do, please slap some sense into that bell icon. But that's going to do it for today. Go ahead and stick around for the time lapse with some shaders. And thanks for watching. Bye.